In this video, you're going to learn how to manage your emotions in high-stress situations during games. Hey there, I'm Eli Straw, mental performance coach and the founder of SuccessStartsWithin.com. High-stress situations during games are going to be those moments where you would say you're feeling a lot of pressure. These can be moments at the end of the game. They can be times during the game where you just feel like that pressure is really packed on you. But you want to make sure that you manage your emotions well in these moments. Because if you don't manage your emotions well, and you have a negative emotional response, or you allow yourself to get a little too anxious or nervous, or you start to doubt yourself too much in those moments, then that's going to negatively impact your ability to perform in those moments. Now, when we think about a high stress situation during a game or a high pressure moment, there's going to be, three phases to it that we can break down. The first one is going to be the situation, right? So the situation you're in. Let's use a baseball pitcher as an example where it's the ninth inning, their bases loaded, and he has maybe a 2-1 or a 3-1 count on the batter. In that moment, he's feeling a lot of pressure because the game's also tied. So he's feeling a lot of pressure to throw this next strike. Now, if he lets his emotions control him in that moment, he's probably going to have a lower chance of throwing a strike. But if he can control his emotions, he has a better chance of throwing a strike. So that's the situation. The second part is going to be your cognition. Cognition is just your thoughts, right? Your mental reaction to the situation. So in that example, that pitcher's probably thinking, I can't throw a ball right here. I can't walk this batter. If I walk this batter, they're going to score a run and we're going to be losing, or they're going to score a run and we're going to lose. I can't have them have a walk-off on a walk. That's going to be so embarrassing. I'm never going to get another chance like this. Do you see how there are all those negative thoughts that are happening in that moment? That's the cognitive response, the cognition. Then what we have after that is the emotional reaction. The emotional reaction is going to be, how you emotionally respond to the situation based on your cognitive reaction. Because we could also flip that situation, right? Let's say that pitcher wasn't bothered at all, and he was just thinking, this doesn't matter, I don't care. He's probably not going to have as much anxiety or as many fears in that moment because his cognitive reaction to the situation is a little bit different. So when we break it down like that, we really start to see that if we could control some of your thinking in that moment, that might help to reduce the pressure you're feeling. And so we're going to talk about that in terms of this strategy. But the strategy that I like to use to help you as an athlete manage your emotions in these stressful situations, it's going to come in two different parts. The first part is going to be a long-term approach, where over the long term, you are learning and training yourself to better control your emotions. The short-term approach is how you can help to manage yourself in the moment. So with the long-term approach, what you're doing is you are using mental training tools to gain better emotional control over yourself. The first mental training tool you can use is something known as cognitive restructuring or a self-talk routine. This is where you come up with all the negative or unhelpful thoughts that you have, and then you create some positive alternatives. And these positive alternatives you then repeat to yourself every single day. What this is doing is it's beginning to change your natural thought patterns. And your natural thought patterns are going to be the automatic thoughts you have in those pressure-filled situations. And so if over time you can actually change your automatic thoughts. So, maybe a month from now you're in a pressure-filled situation again, you will have different thoughts because you've worked to change your automatic thoughts. And also by practicing cognitive restructuring and paying attention to what you're thinking, you're gaining more control over your thoughts. And if you can control your thoughts more, you can control your emotions more because it's your thoughts that are leading to the emotions that you're feeling. The second exercise or the mental training tool that you can use to begin gaining more emotional control over the long term is mindfulness meditation. Mindfulness meditation I love when it comes to training the mind of an athlete because it really helps you gain better awareness of yourself because you're focusing on kind of watching your thoughts. But then also what it does is it helps you build this sense of inner calmness. And if you can tap into that mindful state in pressure-filled situations in the future, that's really going to help calm yourself down. So what I've done in the description below is I've put links to videos I've made on self-talk routines, so how you can use self-talk as an athlete, and then also how you can perform mindfulness meditation, so some mindfulness training. Go ahead and watch those two videos to learn a little bit more about both of these exercises so you can start training your emotional control over the long term. Now, what can you do during the short term, right? So let's say that you have a game tomorrow or later this week, and you want to be able to make sure that you're controlling your emotions and you're controlling yourself in those high stress and pressure-filled situations. So what can you do? Well, there are 3 different tools that you can use, and you don't need to use all of these, but I just want to show them to you and talk about them so you can choose which one you want to use in that moment. The first one is going to be to focus on your breath. Whenever you're feeling a lot of pressure, it's likely that you're going to feel some anxiety and some nerves, and so your heart rate's going to increase, and your breathing is probably going to start to become more shallow. What you want to do is you want to turn your attention onto your breathing and make sure that you're taking nice deep breaths in that moment. The second tool that you can use is remembering past successes. A lot of times, if you're in a pressure-filled moment or a high-stress situation during a game, you're going to be focused on what you don't want to have happen. So with the example I gave earlier of the pitcher and the cognitive response I said he had, where he's thinking about, I can't walk this guy. If I walk this guy, I'm going to lose it for my team. I'm going to lose my position. I'm not going to be able to get another opportunity to pitch. All those kinds of thoughts are focused on what might happen, what might go wrong. By remembering past successes, what you're doing is you're working to change what you're focused on. And so you start to think more about times where you have succeeded. This is very similar to, doing like a visualization where you're visualizing yourself performing well. But in the moment, why I like past successes better is because the past successes actually happened. So if you remember a time where you've succeeded in the past, that's going to remind yourself, oh yeah, I know that I can do this. And so that's going to increase your confidence in that moment. But what it's also doing is it's taking your attention off of the negative outcome that you don't want to have happen, which is only increasing the pressure that you feel in that moment. The third tool that you can use is to practice gratitude. Now this one's a little bit more out there. I get it. It's a little bit different. But in those pressure-filled moments, if you can practice some gratitude, so just kind of think about, why you're so grateful to be in that position. Sometimes that can help to reduce the pressure as well. And then a bonus tip for whenever you're feeling pressure during games is you want to shift your attention onto the process. Whenever you're too focused on the outcome, what's going to happen at the end of this play, at the end of this game, that drives a lot of fear, anxiety, perfectionism, self-doubt, and just all kinds of unhelpful ways of thinking. If you can shift your attention more into the process, number one, you're not focused so much on the outcome. But also, two, you're going to be giving more attention and effort to what you're doing. So with that pitcher example, if he could turn his attention more into the process of this next pitch, and even something just as simple as, I'm really going to lock onto my target, that can help you just narrow your focus and help you perform better in those pressure-filled moments. So that's a strategy that you can use, both a long-term strategy and a strategy for more in the short term and in the moment, to help manage pressure and manage your emotions in these high-stress situations during games. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. I put out new videos each day on sports psychology and mental training. If you have any questions about managing your emotions or any other sports psychology topic, please feel free to leave them in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and I wish you the best of success in all that you do.